Hey, you've tuned into Women Who Write with Radha, Neela, and Gila Nehemia. We're so glad to be here, and we've got so much to share, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Radha, do you want to say a few words before we get right into it?
Absolutely, yeah. So Gila and I have been coming together with Women Who Write, collective, and putting together live workshops, and we're really excited for our upcoming workshop, womb rage, and that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today is how women suppress rage.
Yes, I think it's a really big topic, and we've been discussing this, as Radha was saying, for quite some time. And I've also been noticing for myself specifically that there is as much work as I've been doing on myself, and as much as we've been talking and getting together, I still have a lot of suppressed rage. And it's not because of any specific thing, it's eons of generational suppression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's sort of the overall theme of be a good girl, and it's not acceptable to show any signs of anger, and that if we're displeased, we should just, grin and bear it, basically.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of fear. I've been reading about this and really tuning in inside, and realizing like there's a lot of fear about that type of emotion, rage, because it's so intense. I don't know if I've experienced it a few times. I don't know if I've fully gone into it for elongated periods of time, but I know I've done it, in spurts, sporadically. But I know I've witnessed it because I still remember the image, and it was kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, we actually have all this emotion, right?
Yeah, wow, Callie actually lives inside of me.
I didn't know, right? Callie's coming out and she's not going home.
Yeah. And there needs to be a voice to this, because we have to be able to, first of all, accept the fact that it's there. Not 24/7, but there is a rage that lives within all of us, and it could even be through our ancestors, and it's the unmet voice of the womb too. It's the unmet voice of the woman, and really honoring that voice, because it is in the ignoring, pushing it aside, brushing it under the rug, pretending like it doesn't exist, trying to shut it up, and saying it's not okay, that it keeps growing. And in fact, it can grow in very negative ways if we don't address this properly and really honor what it is.
Yeah, I hear you, and I think it's so important what you're saying, because when any emotion is not expressed, it comes out in a variety of different ways. Disease, even in our own relationships, it can be very challenging, and there's a lot of creative power behind it. So I feel like part of what we are trying to do, or what we're doing in this webinar, is and series after that, but specifically this upcoming webinar on August 22nd, is to really address this and provide a sacred space for everyone that joins, and because it's so important to release it and have the healing to transmute it into creation.
Yeah, because you can take that fire, and boy, this is where you can really access your magic, and it's a place that you can harness and use this for creativity, for activism, for speaking your truth in a way that's empowering, rather than disempowering, for writing. And these things all take energy, and the rage is the burning fire, that fuels that. It's not always where we need to come from when we're being creative, but if we channel it and we acknowledge that it's already there, and we sort of direct it in a positive way through our writing, through our poetry, through speaking, through sharing, there is so much that can happen that is good. that is positive. You can access that rage and make it work for you in a positive way rather than destructive, right?
Right. And I feel like this webinar is going to give people who attend techniques to really to harness it, to channel it, to use it beyond the 90 minutes that we're with them, you know. And I think that's really important, because sometimes we're in a space, we feel really good, and then we leave and we're like, wait, what am I doing? You know, that was an amazing experience, but now it's over and, you know, it's gone. And I feel like this is what we are, this is our intention, is to not only create that space within the time frame of the webinar, but also to give tools and techniques that you can utilize it throughout afterwards and really process it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So part of that is the integration, is really looking at it, is feeling it, is in a place that's, there's a lot of consciousness, there's a lot of support, there's leadership. So you're not just alone, you know, flailing in your own rage without any direction. We're gonna be pulling up aspects of it, but in a way that's really safe and really contained, and then transmuting that through the writing that we're going to do in the workshop.
Right. And I feel like that process, at least for me, whenever I you know, the process of writing and in utilizing my emotion to fuel it, really does shift. And it's not just a temporary shift, it's like a major shift that occurs. And I feel like we are going to be both inviting and witnessing the shift as it happens.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. There's a poem I'd like to read, if that's okay. So this is Lucy Pierce, who wrote Burning Woman. These are burning times, and they call for burning women. Women embodied in their passion, women feeling in their bodies, creative women, courageous women, women who have learned to run on a different power source to the world, which is falling into flames around her. She has already disentangled herself from the wreckage of the patriarchal culture, so she will not be dazed, confused, and disoriented by the systematic changes happening around her. Centered within herself, receptive to the earth beyond her, she knows how to cultivate from the ashes. She knows how to find the embers to fuel the new fire. Burning women, arise. Our time is now. Our time has come.
Wow, that is super powerful. And yeah, I really feel the time is now on a variety of different fronts. And I love the way she says that, the new embers, like, are the new fire, because it's like a new creation. Yeah, in order to create the new, we have to release, you know, we have to create the space for the new to arise.
It's so true. And, you know, it feels very much like there has been, I mean, I feel, if you look in history, going back for the longest time, you know, there has been a persecution of the feminine in this aspect of herself. And this is very cellular, down to the cellular level. Like, women that come in and do publish with us, like, they have persecution wounds, you know, and this is about rebirthing ourselves from these really, they're really intense imprints into our psyche, actually, and they do live there whether we know it or not. You know, some women are more attuned and more kind of psychic around it, and some women don't know why they just feel this way, or why they're afraid to use their voice, why they're afraid to speak their truth. And this is a way where we can access these, both the pain points and these primal energies, and then really transmute them and access them, like, in a way that we can bring forward actual art work. You know, we're going to be writing in this, and you're going to see how beautiful this channel can be when you can access that, how much of a genius this aspect of you is, because it's wise, it's been through so much, it's so primal, it goes through your lineage even, right? We carry the wombs of our mother and our grandmother and our ancestors too within our womb. So we're tapping into ancestral voices. And women have never actually been invited to drop into their womb. I've never been invited. It was something I had to seek out, and I'm sure the same with you, Gila. Is that true?
Yeah, definitely. To really connect to the womb, to connect into that orgasmic, that's where I was seeking, that orgasmic space. But it's also that space, that when we connected, and is also a space of rage. In order to have heightened pleasure, I really feel like you just said, we have to kind of like excavate the wounds and heal them, release them, realize that it's not us. I felt personally in my own life, some of the things that I've been carrying over, it was me, but I realized it's not me, it's a collective us that we've been carrying, that we need to release that baggage now. Like that's why it hit me when she said the time is now, because it's now that we release this baggage in order to step in, to release all the programming, to step into this new world, this new fire.
Yeah, and I really love what you said too about access for pleasure. Yes to that, okay? Yes to that. But we have to actually get comfortable with accessing the shadow aspect too, because like you said, that's how we're going to create more room for pleasure, because we really do have to look at these wounded parts and pieces and also bring the elixir of love and compassion, and really get comfortable with that space and start to bring and invite more pleasure too. Like, this is really important, and I would love it if you'd speak on this aspect of the work that you do with activating more pleasure.
Oh yeah, I think like the work that I've been doing with my clients, with myself, is to really get deeper into the shadows, like we just said, deeper into the trauma of what we can remember or what we feel, using that body wisdom. Sometimes we can't mentally access it, right? It's an emotion, it's a jolt, like, wait, I can't do this or something. And when we go deeper in a very safe and sacred space, what I've seen happen even is like you begin to really open up into the truth of who you are, the truth of your own desire. And I don't think that truth is really accessible until you highlight the wounds, and not in a negative way, but more in a space of love, because I know from, just as a young child, but also from my own work, when women get together and they really support each other, miracles happen. Sacred circles, things that I've held, miracles really do happen. And I feel this space of deep emotion, especially something like rage, is needs to be held. And I think that the one thing I wanted to say that I forgot was about spiritual bypassing. Sometimes we bypass these quote unquote, low vibrational emotions, like just kind of pushing it under the rug and say, okay, that's not the emotion we need, right? We need to be in a positive state. Well, I don't really think we can actually stay, and I know for a fact I can't stay in a positive state if I don't allow myself to feel and be aware of what I'm consciously feeling at that moment. That awareness, like Eckhart Tolle says, like the awareness of what is, and just accepting what is super important, not trying to like talk yourself out of it.
Yes, I'm clapping on that one, because it's so true. That I think that's such an important point, because at this point in time, everybody's like, it's a positivity, spiritual bypassing thing, and I'm all for positivity. But if you're not like getting to the root of anything, you're gonna have it's like getting hair gloss you know, because you have damaged hair. But that's just going to wash out and you're going to still have the damaged hair. But
Right.
that's the approach that so many people are using right now, is just think positive, just be positive. And yeah, people have come to me and they're like, well, that's sort of what I've been trying to do. But I'm like, well, what's underneath? Like that will come naturally. You don't have to try to do that, but what's underneath that gloss, you know?
Right.
And there's so much benefit to getting to the root. And to me, that's very challenging, to find people that are willing to hold space for the depths of the soul, you know, for the depths of our pain and our wounds. And I find that to be extremely valuable, you know. So I think we're putting forward what we really value, and what we know in our heart is really important, and what we know in our womb is so needed, because it's the voice of the womb that's needed now. And we are really excited to be holding this sacred space and this container of depth and love. And you know, the work that we're going to do is going to be something that will ripple into your life, you know, ongoing, far after this. So that's the whole point. We want to bring this work into the world and into women, so that we can start to be the change that we want to see in the world. And it starts within us first.
Yes, totally. You know, and I echo that. Thank you, soul sister. Because I feel that it's so important not to be quiet anymore, and to express that emotion. And we're going to use prompts as well. I've found in my own work, when I use writing prompts, it really helps to go deeper into the root on a, I know, much more on a faster level, because it's intuitive. So we're inviting anyone who's interested. There will be a link in the details to join. And if you have any questions, to contact us directly, because we're here for you. We're here to support you.
Absolutely. So beautiful. So we invite you to comment the details, Gila.
You'll have a link for the Eventbrite and the details of this podcast. So it's about, I think we have until August 13th, there's an early bird. So you can join right now. And then after that, it's a regular price. It's a $44 up until August 13th. And then it's regular price of $111.
Yeah, beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. And thank you, Gila, so much for co-creating this beautiful experience for everyone as well.
Yes, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Radha.
Until next time, blessings to all. Bye.